You don't want to talk to you?
Based on the nature of the case, I'm reluctant to do so.
So we're okay with that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Noting everyone's presence in the courtroom, please have the jury return. The jury having returned to the courtroom, Mr. Holloman, you may resume the examination.
Mr. Bargo, resuming your narrative, I believe you are at the point to where you claim your father picked you up. You know what we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Picked me up, turned left, went down to this four-way at the power station, turned left again. What we ended up doing was making a big square, going back. We end up, got the railroad, one that Charlie's road is off of, went down it, turned left onto her road. There's this wood line, so you can't really see the house. But you kind of see like a glow coming from it. Turned around, we actually went down the driveway, with this fire coming from the backyard. There's this big fire in the backyard, like this fire's huge. And I look over and I see Kyle standing by the fire. So I can see Kyle. I can't really tell it's him, but just by his body shape, I can tell that's him. We pull in, I get out, I come around the side window, and I done smoked my whole pack of cigarettes, and I asked him for a couple cigarettes, and my dad. I asked for a couple cigarettes before I left. He said, yeah. I heard the door open behind me, and as he was pulling out, I looked over, and there's Soto standing at the door. I walk in, I don't even think I talked to him. I'm so, I don't know how to put it. I feel like such crap. I just want to go to sleep, I blow past him. I walk in the living room. Well, before I walk in the living room, I notice I see Charlie. She's sitting there scrubbing the floor. She got this bottle of bleach with her. I don't know if she was using a rag or a scrub brush, but she's scrubbing the floor. Go past her, and there's Amber. Amber's sitting where I'm on the couch left in the living room. She's sitting there and she got my bottle of liquor. And she's sitting there drinking, She's got tear streaks going down her face, like she's been crying her eyes out. And at the time, I didn't realize what was going on. I just kind of looked at her, what are you crying? I'm the one that got beat up, what are you crying about? But I went off into my room. And I went, started taking stuff out of my pockets, and I'm about to go to sleep, like right now. Soda comes to my room. Tells me, Kyle's got to talk to me. Says, Mike, you want your gun back? At this point, yeah, where is it? Look, you got to talk to Kyle first. We gave it back to Kyle? He's like, no, I got it. You need to go talk to Kyle first. You got to talk to Kyle. So I said, okay. I asked him where he was, and Kyle was outside still. We went out we went out through the living room, went out the back, and literally, there was Soto in front of me. I was in the middle. There was, I don't remember what order Amber and Charlie were in, but they were behind me. And we walk outside, and I look over, and Kyle's on the other side of this fire pit. This fire is, it's just, the fire pit's only about maybe 4 or 5 foot across. This fire is just huge. When we get walking over there, and I literally can't get within 15 feet of this fire. This fire is so hot, I can't get within 15 feet of this damn thing. So we're walking around it, and I noticed Kyle has walked off over to the college, actually over by the fence with the neighbors. Charlie blows past me. She goes over there. I go over there, and we're, the guy's concerned about the fire. The guy's concerned because of his property, and he's worried about the fire, and doesn't want to burn down his house. His wife ended up coming out, and I'm sitting out there, and I talked to her, I said, it's not a problem. I don't, you're right, the fire shouldn't be this big. I don't know what they're doing, they need to, if it doesn't, I remember I told them, if it doesn't go down like the next 5 minutes, I'll take a hose to do it myself. They said, okay, all right. And they left. They went back. And as we're walking back, I asked Kyle, I said, you need to talk to me? And he said, yeah, I need to talk to you. I said, well, look, because we just got into a fight. I'm pretty quick to cool off about things. We just got into a fight. Neighbors are already out in the backyard. If you want to talk, we'll go inside and talk, because I don't want something to happen right here in front of the neighbors and cops get called for domestic violence. We go back inside, and remember we were going back in. Soto said he was going to stay out there, make sure, fire didn't catch on anything else. We go back inside and we go into my room. And I remember Kyle told the girls to stay out in the living room, and they sat back out on the couch, I think. Went to my room. I sat down and I asked, what do you got to tell me? And what is it? And he gives me this whole spiel of, I know, I can't say what he said. Well, I don't, give me a minute, I'm trying to, I can't tell you what he said. I wish I could.
You can say what you did in regards to what he told you.
Well, when he told me what he told me, I was dumbfounded by what he said. I couldn't believe what he just told me, and then he kind of put everything together. I come inside, Charlie's cleaning with bleach. Amber's sitting there crying her eyes out. There's a freaking fire 20 foot tall in the backyard. Kyle's sitting here crying his eyes out, talking about he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't know, kind of put it together, it's pretty, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I freaked out, and I remember because I said, he asked me what would I do, what should I do, what would I do? And I told him, I don't remember what I said. I said something about somebody's going to call the cops, or he's got to call the cops. I never said I was going to call the cops, because I don't under no circumstances call the cops. I don't care what it's for. I don't care if I see a robbery across the street. I'm liable to get arrested just because the cops don't like me. But I don't remember what I said. Somebody's going to call the cops, or he's got to call the cops. But when I told him that, he freaked. He freaked because he thought I was going to call the cops on him. And, got to threatening me, talking about if I call the cops, he's going to say I did it. What are you talking about? I'm not going to jail for you. I'm not going to jail. I'm not doing that. I'm not going down. What are you talking about? He's, and he's talking about, it's either you're going to help us or you're against us. Either you're going to help us or you're not. You're already in on it. You're already here. It's too late to back out. And it took me literally 20 minutes to calm him down, and it wasn't until that point that I was actually scared for my life. Just here I am, all beat up, I'm drunk, I'm high, I'm all kinds of messed up right now. I couldn't fight off a flea right now, and here he is, 240 pounds, standing up, puffing his chest out, swinging his arms around, talking about, he's not going to jail for me, I'm liable to be the next one in the fire pit, I'm scared like hell. I'm not gonna lie, I was. And I'm sitting here and I'm I tried telling him, I'm not gonna call the cops on you, man. I care about the kid. I do. I still do. And I tried telling him, I'm not gonna do that to you. And he told me, you're either with us or you're against us. And I told him, I said, man, look, you're high, you're tweaked out of your mind. I'm not in the right state of mind. You're not in the right state of mind. You just need to slow down. You need to stop. Don't do nothing else. I said, man, look, before you do anything else, you need to sober up. We all need to sober up. And I told him that, and he agreed with me for once. You're right. I said, look, man, go do, don't do whatever you're gonna do. I said, but man, I need to get sober, man. I can't do anything. I can't help you. I can't help this situation, period, like this. I told him, I said, look, morning, sober up, we'll figure all this out. We'll figure this all out. He says, all right. I said, well, look, go tell Soto to come in here. He leaves. Soto comes in. Well, as soon as Soto comes in, so do the girls. And the girls are right out there listening this whole time. They're sitting right there in this couch probably from me to that chair right there. And they heard everything that he said to me. Heard Kyle going off on me, and they come back in, and I asked him, what the hell? What happened? And she's sitting here crying, Amber's sitting here crying, talking about she didn't mean for that to happen.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
She's sitting here crying. I felt bad for her. I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad for her. I really did. I felt terrible. She's sitting here crying her eyes out. And I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. I ended up asking Soto. I ended up getting told that the gun was underneath the house. That when Kyle was reloading it, he set it down, and that he grabbed it and he threw it underneath the house before Kyle came back in the house. Said he didn't know what was going on. He said he didn't know why he was reloading the gun, but when he seen it, he just, when he wasn't around it, he took it and he threw it underneath the house. Because Kyle's, the hole in the bottom of the floor is only about that big. And there's no way Kyle's getting down in there. There's no way anybody other than like me or the girls would be able to get down in there. So he threw it underneath the house. And I told him, just, don't touch it. Don't tell him where it is either. Don't touch it. Leave it there. I told Soto to go keep an eye on Kyle, because I don't know. I'm actually kind of worried, because Kyle thinks I'm about to turn on him. Like he expressed that to me. He thinks I'm about to turn on him, and I told Soto to go keep an eye on him, because that's his little road dog buddy. You go keep an eye on him. I don't, Soto left. Finally calm the girls down, which took forever. They're crying their eyes out. They were crying pretty hard, and it was, it was pretty bad. They're crying, and I don't. They told Charlie to go get some sleep. She says you need to get some sleep. They all get some sleep. Amber started crying, asking if she can stay in my room with me that night. Because she just wanted to. I didn't have the heart to tell her no. She ended up staying in there. We went to sleep like literally. My head hit that pillow and I was out. I was so exhausted. I was out. Next morning, I woke up. I remember I woke up, the sun was already up. I woke up, it had to have been about 10:30. Had to have been. I woke up and I know Amber wasn't in there. She wasn't still in bed. I woke up and I hear talking out in the living room. I go out in the living room. Everybody's out there. Amber, Kyle, Soto, Charlie, Kyle's already dressed for work and everything. He's about to go to work, and I don't know how I'm supposed to say this. They say they got it all figured out already. That they
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
I go with Amber and Kyle to take them to work. I wanted to get out of the house. Amber was gonna go with Kyle, take him to work. I was gonna go with them. You know, I just wanted to get out of the house at that point. You know, I wanted to get out of the house. I go with them. Usually we take the back, and we'll hop the back fence, and like literally we'll end up in their backyard. Because of my knee, we had to actually take the long way around. We took a long way around, and we're walking. And I get told, you know, Tracy asked about my face, which is Amber and Kyle's mama. She asked, he said, just say that an aerosol can blew up my face. Looks nothing like a burn. You know, I got a broken nose and 2 black eyes and a busted lip. But, you know, all right. We get there. At this point, I'm literally, I still remember we smoked a joint on the way there because I was hungover like hell. We get there. We were there maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. We got in her Explorer. I think me and Amber were in the back seat. Kyle's in the front seat with his mom. I slept literally the whole way there. I got in the Explorer and I was asleep the whole way. We got back. We got out. And we took me and Amber went inside. She went to go make something to eat, but she couldn't eat. You know, she's trying to hold it together. She was on the verge of tears that whole day. And we ended up going back to Charlie's. Because she started cracking up around her mom. She started, you know. So she wanted to go back to Charlie's. We went the long way around. You know, back around the block instead of hopping the back fence. Well, as we're coming around, so out there with the pressure washer on the front it's a patio, it's a slab of concrete. He's out there pressure washing off the steps and everything. And you know, I see him. We go inside. Remember, around that time was when I called him. We went back inside, and they said James was that. Amber said that she texted James that he was on his way over. Said that he was going to be over there soon. Let's see this. Around that time, around that time, I went outside and I called Kristen Williams, which was a girl I was seeing, and me and her, we dated on and off for about, I don't know, a year and a half maybe, not even. And we used to go down to her dad's house, and we'd hang out down there in Stark. Well, I wanted to get out for the house for a little bit. I don't want to be here no more. You know, after what I was told, I don't want to be in this house no more. I don't even want to be around these people right now. I call her and ask her if it's okay if I go, you know, if I go down to her dad's house. She said, yeah, that's fine. You know, yeah, you can go down there. Let me call her first to make sure it's okay. I said, all right, that's cool. All right, I'll wait for her to call me back. I got on the phone, went inside. We all just pretty much just hung out for a little bit, just sat there. And James Havens, stepdad, he pulled up in this red truck. He comes inside asking, you know, what's up? And I look at him, you know, I look at Amber, you know, because Amber's about to ask him to do something. And I tell her, you know, I don't want no part of getting James into this, you know. he's a nice guy. He's slow. You know, he's slow, but he's a good-hearted person. And I still believe that even after all the lies, I still believe he's a good person at heart. He cares about his kids, you know. I go to walk out though. I walked out, you know. I think I walked out and I called Kristen back, I think, while she was talking to him. And I talked to her for a few minutes. When I came back in, she was on my James sitting there with like this dumbfounded look on his face, you know, just when you guys want to leave, you know, and I don't know, you know, and he said well, he's waiting for Kyle to call him because Kyle owes him gas money. And when Kyle calls him, give him gas money because Kyle owed me money too. We're gonna go pick up the gas money, fill the truck up, and I was gonna show him where the rock quarry is. Well, I don't know what time we got the phone call because Kyle had to be at work, I think, at 11. Maybe around 12, 1 o'clock. We got a phone call from Kyle. The phone call. We hop in the truck. Well, before we hop in the truck, we go out. The truck's by the dumpster. So we had James back the truck up to the dumpster. So we got into the dumpster and started handing out buckets to James. Started handing out these gray buckets with lids on them, 5-gallon buckets to James Havens. And he takes them and he sets them in the back of the truck. Now, so ask people, are they
Actually, hearsay.
Sustained.
Grab a couple cinder blocks, and there's this red dog leash. Put that in the back of the truck. All I'm supposed to do is show these people where this lime rock pit is at. That's all I'm supposed to do. We get in the truck, we drive. I'm pretty sure we stopped by my house so I could grab a clean shirt. Hop back in the truck and we drove out to pick up the money from Kyle. He was actually at Walmart, right behind the McDonald's cashier's check. Got the money from James. Gave me the money he owed me, which wasn't much. Got across the street to the racetrack, filled up the truck. He had me get him a carton of Newport 100s, which I did. Gave a pack to Soto. We ended up driving back over. I gave a pack to Kyle. Because he was only 16, 17 at the time. He couldn't buy them. And we leave. Now, I'm terrible with directions. I don't know directions. Told me to Gander Mountain. I can show you how to get there from there. Go to Gander Mountain. Cut straight across. I think the 40th. Cut straight across. Go through. Take a right. Take a left. And go all the way down. You're gonna hit this big sign that says SCI, Construction Company. But when we hit this sign, tell them turn down this road. You know, turn down. It's a dirt road. It's got trash on both sides. You know, it's just. We go through there. Now. We go there, and we pull in. We get to the very end of it, and it's a decent drive. We pull in. We turn around, and we back up. You know, we back up to this kind of like little mound. You gotta walk over that mound to get to the sugar stand road that takes you all the way down to the end of the lime rock pit. We get down there, we get out and start unloading things, and we find out, you know, that turns out, you know, there's 5 things to carry, and there's, you know, I didn't want to carry anything. I wasn't planning on carrying anything because of my knee. There's 5 things to carry, and there's only, you know, there's 3 people. I ended up carrying one of the cinder blocks. James had a bucket and a cinder block. Soto had 2 buckets. I had a cinder block in that red dog leash chain thing. Before we left, though, Soto reaches into the bed of the truck and he pulls out this burnt can. just this burnt up soup can looking thing, and he takes it, and to the left of the truck, he just slings the contents of it, and then throws the can to the right. Well, when he slung it, I just seen I don't know what it was. It just went flying. I asked him, what the hell was that? He told me that this.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Well, we went over the mound. We went over the mound of dirt. Went over the mound of dirt. Showed him how to get the road. I had to stop like 4 or 5 times because of my knee. Remember I was wearing Jordan slides. These they're white Jordan slides. We're walking down the Sugar Sand Road. We come up to this rock quarry. Now, this rock quarry, if you're gonna go down to the face of the rock quarry, you actually gotta walk down this path, and it's pretty steep, and and even if you get into the front of it, it goes out about 4 or 5. It goes out about 20 feet before it gets past 4 or 5 feet deep. But the back of it, where the cliff face is, it hits about 20 feet. I've actually swam down and touched the bottom. It's fairly deep. Well, none of us are planning on getting wet. I told him, it's kind of afterthought, really. Told him, well, you have to, throw the cliff face. Well, I didn't realize there was a fence back there. We get over to the fence, and there's vines and thorns. This fence had to be 5 or almost 6 foot tall fence. It's a chain link fence. There's vines all over it. I'm sitting here wearing, these open-toed slides, and my knees all messed up. I told him, I can't climb over with you. I told him, if you climb over though, and you go back probably about 30 feet, you'll hit the rock face, and that's where it is. James climbed over, Soto, and I think it was Soto that climbed over first, and James started handing stuff over to him. Then James climbed over. They went out there, and I had the cinder blocks. I was sitting at the fence waiting with the cinder blocks on the other side of the fence because I couldn't climb it. And they go over there, and just Soto comes back, and we hear, when Soto gets back to the fence, I go to hand him the cinder blocks, and we hear a splash. We hear a splash coming over, and we thought James fell in, I hand Soto the rest of this. I hand Soto the cinder blocks and the dog leash thing, and he goes back. He's gone maybe 5 minutes, and I hear another big splash. James and Soto come back. Turned out James didn't fall in. They come back. They hop over the fence, and we get to walking back. And we go back. We go over the mound of dirt. We get in the truck, and we leave. I think on the way back, we stopped off at Publix, got some beer, I think, stopped off at Publix, came back to Charlie's house, got back to Charlie's house. We weren't there but maybe, me and James weren't there I remember because I started drinking. I don't know, I needed to drink bad after that. I started drinking. James says he's got to go pick up Kyle. I asked him, can I just come with you? I really don't want to be in this house. Any reason to get out of this house, I'm taking it. When we get to go getting Kyle, and we pulled up to Kyle's work. Right before we pulled up to Kyle's work, James gets a phone call from Tracy Wright. And I'm sitting here, and Tracy Wright is yelling so loud through his phone. I can hear what she's yelling about. She's freaking out. Cops are in the neighborhood.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained. I'm going to overrule that objection based on perhaps an excited utterance. You can say what Tracy Wright said.
She was saying, to sum it up, she's saying the cops are there and they're looking for everybody. Cops are there and they're looking for just everybody. James tells her, she asks James, where you've been, what's going on, you seen the kids today, and James says, no, I've been out fishing all day. I've been out fishing. Where he said he went fishing, but he said he was out fishing all day. We pick up Kyle. As soon as Kyle gets in, I tell him, I say, Kyle, man, the freaking cops are looking for everybody. Snaps on me. Why'd you tell him? Why'd you tell him? I told him, I didn't say anything. I said, Mike, I swear to God, you better not have told him. I told him, I didn't say anything. He said, look, man, but I just need to just chill and not say anything. He's telling me, don't say anything. When I tell him, I said, look, man, if it's that big of a problem, you're worried about me saying something, let me get some gas money, and I'll shoot out the Stark, If it's that big of a problem where you think I'm gonna tell on you for what you did, I'm just let me go to Stark. Just give me some gas money and I'll leave, and I'll let you guys handle, the hell went on. He ended up giving me like, I don't know. He gave me like between like $75 and $100 for gas. We ended up dropping him off at the Quick King. Me and James pulled up to the Quick King. Dropped him off at the Quick King. This had to have been about 4:30, maybe a little bit later, not even. And we start driving up. We start driving down to Stark. I'm just going there with what I got in my pockets and on my back. I'm just, I need to get out of here. I called Kristen, and I told her I was gonna stop by. I said, hey, look, I'm gonna stop by your house, before I go down there. She said it was all right that I go down there, so I'm gonna stop by before I go down there. We pull in, and and I get out the truck, I close the door, James stays in the driver's seat, and I walk to the back of the truck. Just Kristen comes out the house, and she comes over by me, and we're sitting there talking, and she asked what happened to my face, and I told her, it was, kind of a fight, and then she asked, like, Mike, what's really going on, what's really going on, because she told me I wasn't acting normal. I told her, and this is what I told her too. I told her, I said, look, there was a fight that went bad, and somebody got shot with my gun. I said, look, I need to just, I need to get out of here for a little bit. I said, and she, and I told her, I didn't tell her no details. I didn't give her no details, but I told her, that a body got burned and it got dumped. But that's all I told her. And she said, all right, go to Stark. Go down there and just go down there. I got back in the truck. Me and James drove down there. We ended up getting lost. We got lost pretty bad. Ended up going by Lake Butler Prison. That was a bad omen. But we ended up going down there. We got lost. We ended up at, I want to say, a hardware store where I ended up calling Big Jim, James Williams Sr., his son to come pick me up. Actually, he sent his son and his son's cousin to come pick me up, Greg. They both came and picked me up. We drove back down there. We got to the house, I get along with them pretty, all right. We're sitting there and we're hanging out. The first night, remember, Jim went to work. It was me, Crystal Anderson, Jimmy Jr., and Greg. We're sitting there, everybody's sitting there, everybody's drinking, everybody's smoking pot, sitting there, and we're just hanging out, and just I'm trying to unwind from all this, and I don't know, but next day comes around, and we went to Walmart, helped him get a phone, helped Big Jim get a phone. We came back, we went fishing, came back again, and this had to have been around, I'd say, it was in the evening. It was later towards the evening. Well, I had kept my phone off this whole time. I had kept it off. I go to call my dad, and when I call my dad, he answers, and it just, just all hell's broken loose. saying saying the SWAT team kicked the door in. Birch told me the SWAT team kicked the door in, that they're looking for me for murder, saying I shot somebody. And I remember I told him, I said, Dad, I didn't shoot nobody. And I told him that too on the phone. I said, Dad, I didn't shoot nobody. And he said, well, Mike, if you didn't, you need to turn yourself in. And he told me that the cops said that they know that he brought me cigarettes, and that if they find out he had anything else to do with it, they're gonna give him charge of murder too. And I told him, I said, well, because he said all I told him was that he just brought me some cigarettes. And I said, well, look, that's all you told him. Just leave it at that. When I turn myself in, just keep it like that. Don't just leave it at that. I'm scared to death my dad's gonna get arrested. But my dad's got health problems. He can't handle something like that. And I'm scared to have him anywhere near this. And they're threatening to throw him in the middle of it. He said, you need to turn yourself in. I said, you know what? You're right. I need to hang up with them. And I remember I was so mad when I hung up, because I knew what the score was. I knew what the score was. They, SWAT teams kicked the door in. They're looking for me, saying I shot somebody. I remember I was so pissed. I took the phone and I slammed it down. There was a fireplace with some cinder blocks around it. And I just took the phone. I was just so mad. I remember I threw it. The phone broke. I remember I grabbed it and I just threw it in the fire pit. I was so pissed. And I think Crystal, Danielle, she was sitting out there, Josh Paget, and Jimmy Jr. Senior was asleep. He had to get up work soon. They asked me, said, Mike, what's going on? I told them, I said, there's people up in Summerfield saying, they're saying stuff about me. Saying stuff I didn't do. And they're saying, well, what happened? And I tell them what happened. I told them, look, and this is what I was told too. That somehow this dude was there, got into a fight with someone else. The fight went bad. Dude, he was getting his ass kicked. Not the victim, the one that got killed, but the other kid was getting his ass kicked. And he pulled out a gun and shot him. And he said, I told him, he said he ran outside. So he shot him outside. So he brought him back in, put him in the tub, shot him again. Put him in a sleeping bag, threw him in the fire. And I told him, next day, put him, they put him in buckets. I remember I told him, I said, they put him in buckets. And I showed him where the lime rock pit was. And they asked me, they said, well, Mike, what are they saying you did though? I said, Mike, I told them, I said, they're saying that I shot him. I told them, I said, they're saying I shot him. And he said, oh, Mike, you gotta tell Big Jim. You gotta go tell Big Jim. I said, you're right, because I don't know what to do. None of us know what to do. We go out, we go back inside the house. Big Jim getting up. He comes out in the living room. I tell him the same thing. I tell him, there's stuff going on up in Stark, and they're saying I shot somebody. And he's like, Mike, and I told him too, because I told everybody, because everybody was pretty much sitting around, and he asked me, he said, well, why did he get killed? I told him, I said, because he asked me why he got killed. I said, the brother killed him because he was beaten on and apparently raped his sister. He killed him because he was raped and beaten on and his sister. And I told him that, and he's like, well, Mike, if that's what happened, you need to turn yourself in. And I told him, you're right. I need to. I got to clear this up. I got people up in Summerfield saying I shot somebody when I didn't. And he's just, you gotta turn yourself in. You gotta turn yourself in. Said he can't have this in his house like this. I said, all right. I went out. I'm sitting out there, and I was gonna be drunk before I turned myself in, because I knew this was gonna be a very long night. Started drinking, and I'm not out there maybe 5-10 minutes. Here comes the cops pulling up. There was so many of them. Like, they're having at least 20 cars pulling up in trucks and SUVs. And they grabbed me, slammed me on the ground, grabbed me, took me out to the truck, and I got this thick silver necklace on, which they took from me, that he was choking me with. Took me out there and they put me in the back of the squad car. And I'm sitting in the back, and the guy in the driver's front seat, I think it was like a couple of them, they're sitting there telling me, oh yeah, we got you now, we got you, oh yeah. Yeah, we know what you did, yeah, everybody told us what you did, I'm still like, what are you talking about? No, save it, we already know what happened, And at that point, you know, because I've been through this with the police force, it doesn't matter what you say. If somebody's already said something about you, it doesn't matter. You know, the best thing you can do at that point is just be quiet, ask for your lawyer, sort it out then. Because no matter what you say, it does not matter. They are going to twist it and turn it, and they're going to put it against you. Away, you know, got in the interview room with Detective Bowie, told him I wanted to talk to my lawyer because I got the cops harassing me nonstop. Oh yeah, you're going down, you're going to prison, and you know, said a few other things I'm not going to repeat. I asked my lawyer. We get in, you know, they asked me if I want to come back to Marion County. I said, yeah, sure. You know, get back to Marion County. We get in the vehicle, shoot back over to Marion County. We must have been like a Suburban or something. A guy on my right, a guy on my left, two in the driver's seat. Everybody's got guns out, you know, the wazoo. We pull up. They take me in the interview room. They strip butt naked. You know, they said they're making fun of me and taking pictures and posing with me and stuff. And it got bad. Like it was a freaking circus. These people thought it was a freaking joke. Take me out. They put me out in there's this big office area. That's when cell phones came out. Everybody's taking pictures and oh yeah, we got them, yeah. So we pulled up to they finally brought me from the substation to the actual jail. I wasn't in a good mood. They brought me in. The task force people came in. They got ski masks on. They sat on this bench. They sat on the bench with this guy that I later find out his name is William Faulkner. Never in a holding cell with him. Was on a bench in booking. Never in a holding cell with this guy. In fact, I couldn't remember his face until I seen him get up here. Anyways, I'm sitting there, and there's this task force guy with an officer sitting, like standing right in front of me. They're both looking at me. I'm drunk, and I'm angry, and I'm pissed, and I'm all messed up. And he's like, what happened to his face? Oh, threw it in the fire, and it blew up, and that's what happened to his face. And the guard's sitting here joking about this right in front of me, you know, talking about like I'm not even right here. You know, just talking about me. Yeah, we got him. He's, you know, yeah, everybody told us what he did, and this is what he did. They got the details totally messed up, but they sat there and said it anyways. What I ended up doing is I laid on that bench, and I went to sleep. I was fed up. I made a phone call to my dad. Told him to get Holloman up here to come talk to me, and I went to sleep. That was it. Yeah. That's about it. Here I am.
Any further questions, Mr. Holloman?
No narrative form, Judge. Tender the witness for cross-examination by the state.
Cross-examination. We'll begin it. You may begin the cross-examination.
Judge, we would ask if we could do the cross-examination after lunch.
That might be appropriate. It's 10 minutes before noon. I believe the lunch has been ordered in to arrive approximately at noon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bargo.
No.
You've really portrayed yourself as a victim in this case, haven't you?
No, ma'am.
You're just a misunderstood guy, aren't you?
Wouldn't say that.
Everybody seems to misunderstand what you say.
No one's heard what I said other than now.
And people framed you.
Yeah.
And when you say they shot him or we shot him, it's really I, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Let's talk about your girlfriends. We kind of skimmed over that in the beginning, and I know that was a couple hours ago. We talked about Kristen Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
You dated her for about 1.5 years. You were dating Taylor,
Right.
another girl, at the same time. This is the straight A honor student.
Yes, ma'am.
You left out when you testified that you were also sleeping with Charlie Ely at the time, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
And in fact, you were worried when everybody thought she was pregnant that it was your baby.
Well, because of a prior incident before, she didn't know exactly when she was pregnant, but at the time, I wasn't sleeping with her.
But at some point, you were having sex with Charlie Ely.
At some point, I did.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have Kristen, Taylor, Charlie Ely, and again, somebody else you left out that you were dating when you testified is Amber.
No, ma'am.
Because you were sleeping with Amber and dating her at the time.
No, I wasn't.
You do have her initials tattooed right in your groin area.
I have it on my thigh.
Relevance, Judge. This is character.
Overruled.
I have it on my thigh. I do.
Okay. Do you tattoo a lot of girls' names that you're friends with all over your thighs?
No, but there was something behind that. If you want me
Okay.
to tell you, I will tell you.
How about this? She has your initials tattooed on her private area too, doesn't she?
It's not in her private area. It's below her belt line, but yeah.
Okay. Below, some people may say that's your private area. You don't. That's fine. Right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you do that yourself?
I did.
Okay. So you tattooed your initials right here on Amber Wright.
I can't see where you're pointing.
Right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you have her initials tattooed right here.
Where?
Right here.
Yeah, right here.
Okay. But you weren't in love with her or sleeping with her.
No.
Okay. In fact, isn't it true that the reason you and Seth were feuding is because she cheated on Seth with you?
She never cheated on Seth with me. She never did anything with me.
And you've come in here now and you've made up this story about Seth raping her and Seth beating her when that was not the reason you guys were fighting at all.
Never made up a story, and I never told you something that I didn't already hear from her.
Because isn't it true that Seth broke up with Amber because she found out that you two had slept together?
Not to my understanding. You want me to answer that?
You already did.
No. You let me give you half answers. If you want a full answer, I'll give you a full answer.
You may.
My understanding what happened was she called to break up with him because he was abusive. In fact, Tracy Wright was the one who told her she needed to break up with him. And she went and called him and broke up with him. Now, it somehow got around to that she's breaking up with him because she was sleeping with me, and that was an accusation from him. And I've never slept with Amber.
So somehow, again, you're just the misunderstood victim in this whole thing.
Somehow I got dragged
Okay.
in the middle of that.
All right. Which goes back to my earlier question. You are just a misunderstood victim in the
Perhaps,
case.
Your Honor, repetitive castigating.
Sustained.
Let's talk about another girlfriend that we haven't talked about. How about Tessa McLam?
All right.
Okay. How old was Tessa when you were dating her?
15?
Try maybe 13, 14?
I know.
How about the real reason that you moved into Charlie Ely's house?
I already told you the real reason why I moved in. Now, there were other things going on, but it was already set that I was moving in there.
Let's talk about those other things that were going on.
All right.
You testified that you moved into Charlie Ely's house because she said to you, hey, I need rent money, you want to move in.
I was going to help her with rent, yeah.
But the real reason you moved in there is because Tesla's father found out you two had slept together, and he said he was going to call the police.
See? There's another problem with that. I never slept with her, and she knows I didn't. You want me to go into this?
Sure.
Can I, please? What had happened was, me and her had dated. I care about this girl deeply. I'm not going to say I didn't. She got drunk and told her aunt that she slept with me, which was a lie, which she knows was a lie. Her and her mom both know it was a lie. Yes, I cared about her, but I never took it that far. I never slept with her. And they even came and picked me up one time. I was already living with Charlie at the time. They came and picked me up from Amber's house, and they drove me over to Charlie's, and they sat me down. They told me what Tessa said to her aunt, and they said I need to just lay low until they have a chance to fix what they did, because they knew that it wasn't true.
Again, another big misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Pertaining to you again. Okay. But the bottom line is, whether or not you actually had sex with Tessa McLam, you thought there was a warrant out for you.
I did.
Okay, so you thought there was a warrant and you were hiding. at Charlie Ely's house?
Not hiding, but yeah, I was staying there.
You were staying there because you thought there was a warrant out for you.
No, I thought there was a warrant out, but I wasn't hiding.
Because that's what you do. When you
What I
break the
do.
law, you run and hide, don't you?
No.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Now, you say that you tried to avoid all conflicts with Seth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because of course, whenever there was any problems, I don't want any problems with Seth. I tried to get away from it because you're not that kind of guy. Okay. Because I think you testified on direct, that's what you do, and this was a quote I wrote down from your direct, you avoid problems as much as possible.
Much as I possibly can.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. Isn't it true that if a man crosses you bad enough, all bets are off, you're going to come out swinging?
Coming after me, I am.
Because you wrote a letter stating that exact thing. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes,
Can we
ma'am.
read the full letter, or are we just going to read part of it?
You can read the part about, I would never hurt a woman, but if a man crosses me bad enough, all bets are off. Did you write that letter?
If there's no avoiding a confrontation.
Because
Oh, yes,
if,
I wrote that.
if someone makes you mad enough,
And there's no avoiding the confrontation,
You're gonna
like
come
the letter
out
says.
swinging.
Like the letter says, if you finish reading it a couple lines down, it said if there's no avoiding it, yeah, I'm not gonna let somebody beat up on me.
if someone makes you mad enough, you're going to come out swinging.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. Sustained. Let's move on, counsel.
You kind of describe yourself as a mentor to Kyle. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
Okay, well,
Look, man, Kyle was his own person. I would give him advice. Like I told him he needs to get off drugs. I tried telling him that.
right. You gave him a lot of advice, didn't you?
I have before.
Okay. And about the drugs, you say that he has a methamphetamine problem.
He does.
All right. And I think you testified that you have family members or experience with people that are addicted to methamphetamine.
I do.
Okay. And wouldn't you agree that people that are addicted to methamphetamine are usually very thin from doing the drug?
Depending on how far along their addiction
Okay.
they are, it depends.
You described Kyle Hooper as being pretty bad off addicted to methamphetamine.
He was getting pretty bad.
Okay. Have you seen a lot of 240-pound methamphetamine addicted people?
Objection, that's irrelevant, Judge.
Overruled.
Surprisingly, I have. I have, actually.
And you said you counseled Kyle that dope is bad. And he needs to get off the dope.
He needs to get off that.
Okay. Because except for marijuana that you testified you do Xanax and Soma, besides those things, dope is bad.
I don't take Xanax. First of all, I don't take Xanax. I'm taking so much for my knee because I have a knee problem. No, they weren't prescribed to me. But yes, I take them for my knee. I don't think pot's a drug. And in next couple of years, I'm fairly sure they're going to end up legalizing it. I don't think it's a drug.
You said you don't take Xanax.
I don't.
But you said that somebody paid you in Xanax to do some tattoo work.
No. What I said was he owed me money and he kept dodging me. The only thing he had at the time was pills, and I just wanted to get the guy, just wanted to get him off, he owed me money and I just wanted to, get him off the people that owe me money, just wanted to be done with that. He kind of aggravating me.
So he gave you Xanax.
So he gave me the Xanax.
Okay. And you said you took the Xanax.
This was all he had.
Okay. So you took the Xanax and you took the Soma that wasn't your prescription and marijuana. Those are okay.
No, I don't take Xanax. I don't ingest Xanax. I don't ingest any barbiturates.
Now let's see. You said you hit Kyle with some tough love.
I did.
All right. You told him he needed to go to work.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to work. He wanted to stay home because he caught the victim sleeping with his girlfriend. He was so tore up about it. He was so tore up about it. He didn't want to go to work, and I knew that if he didn't go to work that day, he's just going to do it again the next day. He's going to do it again the next day, and eventually he's just going to quit.
All right. This is all part of you're helping Kyle.
I tried to
Make him a better person. Okay. And when you say you let him borrow the gun, you told him, don't point the gun at yourself or anyone else. You gave him that advice.
Well, I mean, kind of comes with the territory, Don't point the gun at somebody.
And when you say he stole Seth's bike, you told him you don't go stealing someone else's bike, right?
Yeah, you don't go stealing something and bring it to the house, you know? How bad is that?
Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
I don't know if I'm convicted.
Your Honor, may I approach the clerk?
Yes, ma'am. Counsel, approach the bench, please.
Isn't it true, in fact, that you have been convicted of 2 felonies?
Like I said, no, and my understanding it wasn't 2. It's my understanding it wasn't 2 felonies, and my understanding I was, what is it called, adjudicated?
You may now proceed, counsel.
Maybe this will help your understanding. Burglary of a dwelling. Can you read that right there?
The defendant was adjudicated guilty.
Okay, and that's you.
That's me.
And a grand theft is right under here. The defendant was adjudicated
Oh,
guilty.
I thought you were talking about 2 separate cases.
Okay. Again, just misunderstood.
You got me.
All right, so you are a convicted felon.
I guess I am.
All right, so April 17th, you woke up. You said your normal Sunday routines, you go to church and you clean.
No. I was raised that Sundays pretty much reserved for church and cleaning. I haven't been to church in quite a while. To tell you the truth, I wish I would have been. But no, we were going to clean that day, and that's what we did.
Okay. What did you clean? We saw pictures of the house and the video. What'd you clean?
Yeah, it's not clean now, and it was fairly clean at the time until I trashed the house looking for my gun.
Okay. By cleaning, I know you say you trashed the house and made house.
Well, it wouldn't constitute as cleaning in anybody's dictionary, but it pretty much consisted of moving one pile of junk to another.
Okay.
But
Because you said you all got to clean in the house that day.
yeah,
All right. Now, you talked about how you'd hurt your knee in some bike accident.
yeah,
Okay. You really hurt your knee chasing Seth when he escaped out of the house, didn't you?
no, absolutely not.
Okay, were you the one on the porch yelling, "Get him," then?
I wasn't there when that happened.
Now, when everyone else went to light a fire, before Seth got there, you said you cautioned them all about a burn ban and that the fire marshal might come, so they needed to be careful?
That was before, when was it? That was before I left the house. That was before it was even dark out. That was around, could have been no later than 7.
You were being very cautious about the fire marshal and telling them, look out.
Have you ever had the fire marshals come out and give you a ticket?
So you were telling them that?
Yeah, don't start it yet.
Because you didn't want to get a ticket from the fire marshal when the body was burning.
There was no body in the fire at 7 o'clock.
All right, you left to go to Taylor's, and you stopped, I guess, at your drug dealer's house to get pot, you said?
I went over there and got some pot.
Pot and some cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay, because you were going to bring some pot and some cigarettes to your straight-A student girlfriend Taylor's house.
Trust me, she's completely against it, but I smoke pot. I do.
And then you smelled like hay from the drug dealer's house?
Yeah, well, these dudes work at a horse farm, and they come home, and I don't know if they just like flop on the couch, but the house smells like damn stable.
So then you had to go back home because you were going to take a shower.
I didn't have to, but like halfway leaving, I realized I don't have any of my clothes at Taylor's no more. I stopped off at the house to take a shower real quick, and
And then you were mad because there was a rank dope smell when you got into the house.
that was pretty bad.
And that's opposed to the way it smelled every morning when you smoked your joint before you took a shower while the water was running?
There's a big difference between pot and meth smoke. There's a big difference.
You just don't like the smell of the meth, but the pot's good.
Well, I don't like breathing in meth.
Now, Kyle beat you up. You say your nose is broken.
Nose is broken.
Okay, so but you reset it yourself somehow.
No, well, it's not hard. I've had, you can't see that big beak I got. I've had to reset that nose a few times.
All right. And you leave the house after this beat down and you're in the fetal position and the nose is broken, you leave the house again.
Objection, compound question.
Sustained.
Your nose is broken,
Right.
you're beat up
Right.
badly,
Pretty bad.
okay, and you described yourself as lying in the fetal position when Kyle was just kicking you.
Kind of the days. It's not like I kind of just sitting here. Actually, my arms were like down at my side and I'm getting kicked in the face here. And it's not like I'm, just, hey, kick me, kind of just getting kicked,
So you're walking, you leave the house and you're walking on the street. I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty ticked off.
All right.
I decided to leave. These people just stomped my face in, and my gun's missing, and there's I'm not sticking around.
So you leave and you get sick,
Yeah, I threw up.
you call your dad.
I did.
Your dad's a nice guy, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he loves you very much.
He does.
And your dad comes and he picks you up.
Yeah.
And so when your dad comes to pick you up, you tell him, I just got my face stomped on. Somebody stole my gun. Can I please come back and stay with you?
Compound question.
No.
Overruled. Let her answer.
Absolutely not. I'd have told my dad that I just got my face stomped in and that somebody just stole my gun. You know how much drama there would have been?
Your dad would have let you come back to the house he lives in with your grandmother, correct?
Yeah, but I didn't want to go back there.
Okay, you'd rather go back to the place where you got beat down and they stole your gun.
Yeah, I mean, I live there. My stuff is there. I'm not going to go to my grandma's house. My grandma's an elderly woman. I'm not going to go there all beat up and drunk, and I'm not going to do that to her. I'm not. She doesn't need to go through that.
Now you come in and you say Charlie Lee's cleaning with some bleach and Amber's crying.
Yeah, Amber's crying on the couch.
There's a big fire, and your word you used to describe that was you're dumbfounded.
Dumbfounded.
Dumbfounded, that's what you said.
I'm dumbfounded about what?
About the big fire. They're crying, big bleach, bonfire, dumbfounded.
Walked in, seen her crying, kind of wondering what the hell that's all about. Went to my room, like I said, Soto came in, but then you objected what he said to me. Went out there, and when I seen this fire, yeah, I was kind of dumbfounded. There's trees all around. This fire is like 20 foot tall.
And you told Kyle Hooper to call the cops, right?
No, it was a misunderstanding.
Oh.
I said to him, let me finish. I said to him, I don't know exactly what I said to him, if it was, you should call the cops or somebody's going to call the cops, because if I can't, you wouldn't let me describe exactly what he said to me, but the way he kind of described it, it sounded kind of like, sort of kind of like self-defense, but then again, not really.
Okay, well, you said Kyle got mad and said, help us or you're against us.
Either for us, you're against us. That's what he said.
All right. So at this point, you called your dad, right, and said, I'm in some trouble. I'm going to get blamed for something. Come get me.
No.
You didn't call your dad here either. Okay.
No, that's completely out of order. No. I called my dad when I was over by the Quick King to come pick me up, and he dropped me off, and then he left, and I never called him after that.
That's my point. Okay. You said you were scared like hell. That's a quote I have from you, scared like hell.
Yeah, when me and Kyle were talking, yeah.
Okay. So you went to sleep.
So I went out there, keep an eye on him. Yeah, I went to sleep.
Okay.
I mean, there's not really much I could have done at that point.
There's not much you could have done.
What do you
Could you have
suggest?
called the police?
And then what, get blamed for
Can
it?
you answer my question? Could you have called the police?
Oh, I could have.
Could you have called your dad?
No, I would not have called my dad
Could
for
you
that.
have called your dad?
I could have, but I
Could
wouldn't.
you have called your grandmother?
Hell no.
Could you have left the house?
And done what? Had him come after me and then beat me up and drag me back and throw me in the fire because you think I'm going to go tell on him?
Could you have left the house?
Without being killed? No.
Okay, you couldn't leave the house. Could you have called Taylor?
No, I couldn't have. It was, by the time then, it was almost 12 o'clock. I knew she was in bed.
In fact, there's lots of people you could have called, and there's lots of things you could have done, but you went to sleep.
Lots of ifs and lots of could-haves, but it's not what happened.
Now, the next morning, you woke up like 10:30. It was light outside. You slept in. You get in the car with Tracy Wright, Amber, and Kyle. And Tracy asks you about your face. What happened to your face?
don't think she asked me about my face.
Okay. Well, you said you described to her what happened to your face.
No. I never described to her what happened to my face.
You said on direct examination that you told her my face got burned by an aerosol can because that's what they told you to say.
Kyle wanted me to say that, but I don't even think the question ever came up, and if it did, it wasn't me that answered it.
Okay.
In fact, because when I got into the car, when we went to go drop him off, I was out. I went to sleep.
So your testimony now is that you never told Tracy Wright my face got burned by an aerosol can.
Never told her that.
And what about telling Tracy Wright, would you still love me if I did something wrong?
Why would I say that to her?
Because you just killed Seth Jackson?
No, that sounds like something Kyle would have said because he just killed Seth Jackson. That's not my mom, that's his mom.
So you're denying that you said that as well?
I never said that.
A misunderstanding again.
It has to be.
All right. Now, you told them where this rock quarry was.
I did.
Correct. Because nobody else knew where this was.
True.
This was your place. This was
Right.
your idea.
No.
To,
No.
Your idea where to dispose of the body.
I couldn't tell you what they said because you objected to it. If you want to go back, I'll say it.
This is my question.
No, it was
You
not
told
my
them where the rock quarry was.
Well, you want me to, can I say it? Can I
You've
answer-
already answered yes. You told them where it
Can I
was.
answer this question, please?
You did. Move forward, please, counsel.
Okay. Now, you took the blocks and the buckets, and you guys all went to the rock quarry.
Yes.
Or we've seen the pictures. It's a long walk to get to the quarry.
Quite a long walk.
Okay. And you're carrying cinder blocks, you say, at this point?
Carried one cinder block.
So at some point on this walk, you told them, hey, I'm not helping you do this anymore. My knee hurts. I'm going to stop, right?
No.
You just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
That you stopped, you called the police, you didn't assist them. You didn't do any of those things.
No.
You helped them.
I carried a cinder block to the fence. They climbed over with it.
Because you told them to. You testified on direct. You told them to throw the buckets over the cliff, down the rock wall.
Well, if they're going to do it, that'd be the way to do it.
Okay. So you were helping them out. You were taking Kyle's advice if you were going to be with them. Then after you dispose of Seth's body, after it's dumped in the quarry, you go to Publix, get some beer, and you start drinking.
Yeah. It was pretty stressful.
All right, Kristen, you go to her house before you go to Stark,
I did.
and you say you told her somebody got shot with a gun,
Somebody got shot with my gun.
with my gun, okay. And your girlfriend of 1.5 years, Kristen, misunderstood you and thought you said, I shot a kid.
Said somebody got shot with my gun.
Right. But that's not what she says.
I never told her I shot somebody.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. She misunderstood what you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Your girlfriend of 1.5 years mistook that.
Objection, arguing with the witness.
Sustained.
All right, let's talk about you going to Stark. Now, you say basically that you fled to Stark for Kyle.
Yeah, he didn't. He's worried I'm going to tell on him. And he just, I said, well, if you're so worried, then why don't I just go to Stark?
Okay, so out of the goodness of your heart, you tell Kyle, if you think I'm going to go to the cops,
Not necessarily out of the goodness of my heart. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to get the hell out of there. I didn't want no part of that. I didn't want no part from the beginning. But I made the decision to become a part of it. And and he's worried about me telling on him. And he's so worried about me telling on him that he's threatening me that he's going to pin it on me.
so just to allay Kyle's fears, you're going to go shoot on up to Stark.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you get to Stark, and you said that you get along with Kristen's family fine. You have no problems with them.
Never really had a problem with him.
Never had a problem.
Her brother a little bit. Her brother a little bit. But that's kind of irrelevant to all this.
So when you get up to Stark, the Kyle's not there, right?
Nope.
Justin's not there. No Charlie Ely. No Amber. Okay. None of those people are there. You're with a family that you visited before,
Yes.
okay, that you get along with.
Fairly.
So at this point, clearly you tell them, I need some help. People are trying to pin a murder on me.
It didn't come out like that.
Instead, you sit by a burn barrel and you drink some beer.
I did at one point.
That's what you do when you get there?
Well, Later on that night, we did. I mean, I drank beer.
And again, these people, we have James Williams Sr.,
Right.
James Williams Jr., Crystal Anderson,
Yes.
Josh Padgett.
Yes.
All say, quote from you is, "I shot the kid."
No, I know where, I think I know where they got misconstrued with all that.
Misunderstood, again, all of them.
Well, yeah.
Sustained. Let's refrain from using that misunderstood question again, please.
You were bragging to people that you murdered Seth.
No, I've never bragged to anybody that I've done anything.
Isn't it true that you were bragging because you wanted people to know what you had done and you wanted people to be scared of you?
Why would I want people to be scared of me for something I didn't do?
Well, you would want people to be scared of you because, as you testified on direct, you're a little guy and you got picked on your whole life.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna stop it.
So you wanted people to be scared of you.
No, I don't want no one scared of me.
Isn't it true that when you were in court, another inmate said that they were going to whoop your ass, and you just laughed at him? Because he obviously didn't know what you were in here for.
Where's this inmate at?
One second. Let me hear the, no ma'am, let me hear the question again.
Isn't it true that when you were in court, another inmate threatened to beat you up?
What's the date on that? Just curious.
June
No objection was relevant, it's bad character.
June 13th of
Overruled.
2011.
June 13th. That was, and it wasn't an inmate, just so you know. It
Well,
was.
you wrote an inmate. I didn't pick that word.
Oh, well, that's a misunderstanding. It was somebody in the background, standing in the audience, that was laughing and pointing, "We'll kill you," and that's what he was saying to me. And I just kind of brushed it off, you know. I'm locked in a room by myself, 23 hours a day. I'm not.
When he was making fun of you and threatening you, you laughed because he obviously didn't know what you were in jail for, did he?
What?
You want me to approach and show him the letter?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, see, Chase is the guy's name. Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Because he should have been scared of you.
No, that's
You
not
bragged
why.
about it to everybody.
Young, I want to lodge an objection before I agree that the probative value of this is far outweighed by its prejudicial effect.
Overruled.
That's.
I don't have any further questions,
Well,
right? There's no more questions, Mr.
Well, I want to answer that. Your Honor, can I please answer that?
He answered it, Your Honor.
You answered the question. Mr. Holloman may have some further questions of you. Redirect examination.
Let me approach the clerk.
Granted.
Now approach the witness.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bargo, I want to show you what are the two felony adjudications, also known as convictions in this case. Are you familiar with those?
I am.
And when did that happen?
I don't remember the exact date, but somewhere in 2011.
Right, was it during the course that this murder case was pending?
Like right after this case became active.
With this, right?
Right.
So it was pending at the time you were charged with actually murder, correct?
Yes.
What judge was that in front of?
Hale Stancil.
There was a pretrial that you went to, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to object to the relevance of this at this point.
Overruled.
There was a pretrial that you went to.
Yes, sir.
And at this pretrial, the judge noted, it was called by your defense attorney at the time, the judge was told, that these murder charges were actually pending, correct?
Yes, he was.
And didn't your attorney also argue in front of that judge that these could be used as aggravators, maybe?
Yes.
Or at least to impeach you as being a convicted felon?
He did.
And did he move to have these cases transferred to Judge Andy to dispose of them?
He did.
And what did the judge do with that? Did he grant that motion?
He did after we pleaded guilty to adjudication. He was then willing to transfer it.
Or what was he going to do before that? What did he tell
He
you?
was going to force me to trial.
What would be the potential maximum sentence on this, do you know?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did you plead to these freely and voluntarily?
Not really voluntarily. I didn't want to plead to him. I really didn't.
Is that the case with the weed eaters and stuff they were talking about?
A couple leaf blowers gotten stolen.
Your Honor, I don't have any questions.
Recross.
No, Your Honor.
You may step down.